Hello, I'm Philip Stoughton. I'm here at Productronica 2017 on the Scoop Studio, and I'm joined by Günter Schindler from ASM. Günter, always a pleasure to talk to you. Always nice to get an insight as to where things are going in the industry. And we've been talking about Smart Factory and Industry 4.0 for at least two Productronicas, maybe more. Are we getting to the point of actually walking the walk rather than just talking about it?
I would definitely say that we are walking the talk. Because when we look into the applications, what we see now in the industry already occurring, then it might be not the big picture overall right now for all the different applications, but we have a lot of customers who actually have in islands or in other areas already realized a lot of solutions. That's one of the reasons why we asked these customers to work with us in a smart network. We call it Smart Reference Site Network, where we basically are able to exchange these kind of experience in the field of what they're doing. And we have them in all regions. So it's China, it's India, it's Americas, it's Europe, it's Germany. So that helps us a lot also to learn, because we are still in a learning phase.
Yeah. And when you look at that group, the objective of that group isn't just for you to learn about what's going on. It's also to offer reference advice to others. How do they manage that collaboration and the risk of competition?
This is something what we are going to find out this show, because I think they're very generous in willing to spend this kind of, or willing to share this kind of experience with others. And we had already a couple of requests so that they basically show also up at the show and present their own case, and this worked out quite well. So, but I have to say we need to wait another couple months to see how it's really working out. Till now, it's working out pretty good.
Yeah, and I think OEMs now are looking to their contract manufacturers to be the smarter, more agile providers. So it's becoming a really important part of how they present themselves as a business to the outside world as well.
I agree, and I guess you made an excellent point. We have to be open. I guess in the last couple years, we still were trying to develop all our own solutions, everybody for himself, but we also have to realize that a lot of our customers have a legacy. They also have multiple vendors which have different products, and they all need to be integrated. So the openness in regard of interfacing, and also the openness in regard of working together for the integration needs to be there.
Yeah, and that collaboration, I think, is really important. And I've spoken to several people about this week, and it feels that we're the most collaborative and most open we've been in the industry. Part of that is this whole standards process. That's really bringing people together in a cooperative environment. The Hermes standard was launched this week. We talked about how that fits in with CFX and other standards. Is that standards thing moving fast enough for you, and is it going in the right direction?
I personally believe it's in a good move. It's in a good way, because I have to say we took the action in that regard. In this case, we are talking on a horizontal base for machine-to-machine communication, and we were able to win a lot of partners, and also we asked the competition actually to join this kind of Hermes standard to bring their requirements into it, so that we have the maximum output for that. And unfortunately, not everybody joined. But on the other side, out of my perspective, sooner or later, you didn't create the standard, or you didn't participate to create the standard, but you have to adapt anyhow. So we have to be open in that regard. And I have to say, also our let's say thinking 3-4 years ago was very much ASM minded and not necessarily open in that regard, because we thought that we need to be protective. But I personally believe this is completely wrong, and since 1.5 years we changed this point of view completely.
That's really interesting, Günter. I think that's a really important part of the development of the industry, but also for ASM as well to do that. One of the other factors I see at this show is and we've seen it again in the last couple of shows, more robotics, more automation, so other vendors coming into the space that we perhaps didn't see before, but also things like artificial intelligence, augmented reality. I saw a lot of this at the Hanover Fair this year. So players that we wouldn't associate with our market, IBM Watson, Microsoft HoloLens, starting to look at manufacturing and at SMT. Is that something that excites you in terms of other potential collaborations?
First, I think it's exciting, and then the point is yes, a clear yes, because when you look into the overall solutions which we have to provide, I guess we are far away from equipment providers. We need to provide workflows. And when you provide workflows, you have to do certain kind of analysis and see how the workflow is basically or does fit together in the overall picture of the customer. And all customers have a different situation there. And this just can be done with partners. So in some areas like AGVs or whatever, we would not look into developing our own AGV. So we will partner with somebody. Maybe sometimes the customer has his preferred supplier, and then we have to partner with him. Yeah. So I guess this will grow together, but at the final end, we have to think about what kind of workflows are important to the customer and how can we help him with that.
Yeah, and one of the areas in terms of workflow, in terms of line performance, factory performance, that came up a lot at Hanover, but we're hearing more in this industry is digital twin. The idea of a digital twin of a process, a digital twin of a product, a digital twin of a whole line or a whole group of lines. Is that something your customers are talking to you about and you're working on developing?
In some areas, it depends on what kind of depth we are talking. If we are talking about a complete factory simulation or whatever, then this is, let's say, a very few customers think about stuff like that. But when we are talking about a board simulation or any kind of production simulation, then it's definitely something what our customers are looking into. And a digital twin also requires a very holistic data collection and also a very holistic usage of the same technologies. And as I said before, a lot of customers have a lot of different technologies in place. So we need to find ways how we can work with it. So I would say compared to the real automation houses, which we have like Siemens or others, we are still in the SMT area not that far developed for a digital twin. But at the final end, why should it not work? Certainly, yeah.
It's certainly got the potential, and it's got interesting potential to deliver some of these benefits that we talk about. 3 years ago at an Electronica, I think I asked you how far you thought we were from Industry 4.0. I'm interested to know how much closer you think we are, or have you seen facilities that have actually reached that smart factory nirvana?
Till now, I didn't see any factory which reached it completely. And I also believe this will never be there because this is like continuous improvement. It's going to be a continuous process. So there is no stop. We have to look into that. But what I see is that a lot of customers are starting, and I'm not sure, did I also explain it last time? I always use this kind of picture like a jigsaw puzzle. If we have a vision for an Industry 4.0 company or Industry 4.0 factory, then you have a picture. And then you just take this picture like a jigsaw puzzle, and in some areas we have already some solutions, and in some areas we don't. But when you don't start puzzling and bringing these kind of solutions together, you will never get to the final picture. Yeah. And this is something what I see coming, and it's definitely there. And there are companies who are very good in that, and some other companies are starting. And we try to develop a support tool, which we also provide on the show. It's a so-called checklist where are you in your own, let's say, workflow environment with your Industry 4.0 or with your smart factory solutions. And I guess this kind of checklist can be used by each one individual. You don't have to share with anybody to make yourself a picture, where are you? Yeah. And I think this is also important because everybody's in a different stage. And with this kind of checklist, at least you can get for yourself a certain kind of status, and then you can use this kind of outcome to say, okay, I would like to go in this direction or this direction.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely true. And you know, just to wrap up, the elements of the jigsaw puzzle that we're challenged with, they're going to be fixed by that collaboration and that openness you spoke about. They're going to bring those other elements. Günter, always a pleasure to chat. Looking forward to doing it next time. Thank you so much for your time.
Appreciate it.